I was 26 years old, 7 months pregnant, and already tired in a way I had never felt before. I was carrying a baby inside me, but I was carrying my whole life alone. My boyfriend had disappeared the moment he heard the word ultrasound, as if the sound of responsibility scared him more than anything in the world. A part of me wasn't surprised. He grew up feeling like the world owed him everything, the same way my parents treated my younger sister, Claire, the golden child who could do no wrong. That morning, when I walked into the clinic, my parents followed behind me like they were being forced to be there. They didn't look worried. They didn't look caring. They looked annoyed, like helping me made them late for something more important. Something in my chest tightened the moment we stepped inside. I tried to calm myself, but the room felt too bright, too loud, too full. When the nurse asked me to sit, I tried, but the world started spinning. The voices around me grew far away, like I was underwater. I grabbed the counter to stay steady and whispered that I didn't feel well, but before I could say anything else, my knees gave out. I collapsed so fast that the sound echoed across the room. People gasped. Nurses rushed toward me. Someone shouted for a stretcher. But over all the noise, I heard my mother's voice, sharp, angry, and full of judgment. She said I was doing this again. She said I always wanted attention. My father sighed loudly, annoyed that I was making a scene. He told the nurse not to bother with me and to check the healthy daughter first. He bent down as if to look at me and then told the nurse not to waste time on me because I was dramatic. The nurse looked shocked. My parents didn't care. My mother snapped her fingers toward Claire, who was sitting perfectly fine 3 seats away, scrolling on her phone. She told the nurse that Claire was the one who mattered, that Claire had a job and a future, and that I was the one who made bad choices and tried to trap men. I was dizzy, but I heard every single word. The nurse insisted I needed help because I was pregnant and fainting, but my father leaned close to my face and said I got pregnant on purpose and that this was my lesson. His voice felt like a blade cutting through the little hope I had left. When they put me on the stretcher, my parents didn't follow. They didn't ask if I was okay. They didn't even look at me as they walked away. I heard my sister asking if they could go to lunch because she had a nail appointment. My mother agreed instantly. My father's last words before the door closed were that I was a waste of time. Inside the scan room, the lights were dimmer. The nurse put cold gel on my stomach and moved the scanner slowly while trying not to show how disturbed she was by what she had seen and heard. When my baby's heartbeat filled the room, fast, tiny, strong, I felt tears slide down my face. The nurse said my baby was okay and that I just needed rest. Then she asked if I had support at home. I laughed softly, because the only honest answer was no. Lying in the recovery room, staring at the ceiling, something inside me changed. Something quiet but strong. I realized I would never again beg these people to love me. I would never again chase their approval. I would not let my baby grow up feeling unwanted the way I always had. I felt a line draw itself inside me, deep, final. 3 months later, when my baby girl, Lily, was born, my world finally felt alive again. She was small, warm, and peaceful. When she lay on my chest, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time, a reason to keep going. I waited for my parents to call, to text, to check on me, but nothing came. They were too busy preparing a party for Claire's job promotion. They told me earlier not to bring single mother drama to the event, so I did what they wanted. I stayed silent. For the first time ever, I chose myself. I whispered promises to Lily every night, promises that she would never hear the words my parents said to me. She slept on my chest for the first 2 nights, her tiny breaths warming my skin. When we went home after the hospital stay, the nurse told me I was stronger than I looked. I didn't believe it then, but her words stayed with me. 3 weeks passed with no sign of my parents. Then one morning, my phone rang. I froze when I saw my mother's name. I didn't answer. Then my father called. Then Claire. I let them ring. But soon the text messages started. They wanted me to come home. They said it was urgent. Then the real reason appeared. My father had a mild stroke, and they needed someone to drive him to his appointments. Claire was too busy. They assumed I had nothing important happening because I was just a single mother. Their messages were filled with the same old words: be useful, don't be dramatic, don't mess this up. Not once did they ask about Lily. They didn't even know she had been born. I held my baby a little tighter. I remembered the clinic floor. I remembered their voices. I remembered being left behind like I was trash. And then I made a decision. I sent one message: I'm not your emergency backup anymore. Then I blocked them all. The months that followed were quiet but healing. I learned how to be a mother. I learned how to take care of myself. And little by little, I became a different person, calmer, stronger, no longer desperate for anyone's approval. But people like my parents don't disappear. They return when they need something. 3 months after Lily was born, they arrived at my door unannounced. I heard knocking, loud, impatient, and then my mother's voice demanding that I open the door. I looked through the curtain and saw all 3 of them standing there. My father had a cane. Claire looked annoyed. I opened the door only a small amount, just enough to see them. They immediately insulted me. My mother said I looked awful. Claire criticized Lily's nose. My father told me I would be moving back into their home to take care of him until he recovered. He said it was the least I could do after all they had done for me. Their delusion was almost unbelievable. These were the same people who ignored my existence for years, the same people who left me on a clinic floor while pregnant. Before they could push inside, I stepped out onto the porch. And at that moment, my neighbor Stephanie arrived. She was a social worker, and she had helped me so much in the past few months. She walked up the driveway and asked if I was ready. My parents looked confused. Stephanie told them she was there because I had reported the emotional abuse they had put me through. I pulled out my phone and played the horrible voice messages they had left me. My mother's voice saying cruel things. My father ordering me to drop everything for them. Every insult. Every threat. My parents' faces changed instantly. The confidence disappeared. The anger faded into fear. Stephanie told them their behavior met the legal definition of emotional abuse, coercion, and neglect. She told them she was filing official reports. My parents tried to argue, but she stopped them each time with the facts. Then she said something that broke whatever control they thought they still had. She said I would never again be legally obligated to care for them. My mother panicked. My father tried to step inside my house. Claire asked to at least see the baby. I looked at them, my voice calm and steady, and told them they didn't get to meet a child they hoped wouldn't survive. Their faces fell completely. Stephanie stood beside me, solid and ready. I told them to leave. They didn't expect my strength. They didn't expect the quiet power I had grown into. They never imagined a world where I chose myself. But that day, I did. And I closed the door on them, on the pain, on the cruelty, on the past, finally free. Please like and subscribe for more videos, also comment where you're watching from.